Hi everyone, my name is Kai, and welcome to my first devlog for this game that I am making. This game will be called The Blizzard or something of that sort. It's kind of still in the work of progress, and it's kind of a winter survival game. Um, Part journey, part iron lung, if you've heard of those games before. You travel towards a specific destination. On the way, you do different stuff. So what I've done so far is create the base world g- terrain generation. So if I click play, you'll see that the terrain will generate in front of me. As you can see in the game world, the terrain has been generated. So with this, I've added a snow shader using a tessellation technique on the plane mesh. So if I walk around, you'll see that um, I make a trail in the snow. I'm currently still just a capsule. Um, so this is very similar to something I saw on just YouTube, just by searching up snow shaders. I forget the name, but I will leave a link in the description. It's based off of the idea, but it definitely is coded differently. And if we come over here. Another thing I've made is this fabric material that's blowing in the wind. So this game is set in the post-apocalyptic Earth, where maybe a major war has occurred and everything's kind of frozen over. So this is like a remnant flag of a certain army that was fighting. And then I've also added a another effect using shaders. So this kind of iced overlooking effect is using pretty much the same code as the snow, just adjusted for color, transparency, height, and like the shape. So you can see the snow is kind of rounder, softer looking. Meanwhile, this is more jagged, and it latches onto any object that you put underneath it. Other effects I've added is just the generic blizzard effect. This will most likely change, just because I want kind of a more dynamic wind, so it will f flow in the direction that this flag is also flowing to make it look a little more realistic. And then obviously you can already see that there's a um, VHS effect. So that's something I wanted, the style that I want as well, just to make it kind of more eerie, I guess. And also a fog container using just the regular pipeline. So this is more of a particle effect rather than a fog volume. And then in the distance, you can see a beacon. That's probably where the player wants to get towards. Maybe there's something there. Not sure, not too sure yet, but that's the end goal. And then on the top left, you can see a blue bar that is kind of your freeze meter. So as you're still outside, the meter will go up and your screen will frost over. So currently, because I started the game without doing anything, going near heat sources, going into the vehicle that you're supposed to be in, it really quickly just went up to the full. So you can see there's a blue tinge. It starts off not blue and slowly gets towards that. On the bottom right is kind of a monitor. So you have a little device that tells you different aspects of the game. So currently, it's just a warning for when you step out of your vehicle and you're inside this like freezing temperature. So if I press enter to proceed, you'll see that there's a temperature gauge that just changes randomly to just like have an effect, show you what's going on. It doesn't do anything. You'll still freeze over regardless of the temperature. Maybe that will change in the future, but I was thinking of putting health and I guess altitude as well. Um, if that if we get to that, and other kind of aspects, maybe like closer to something, you get a bit of signal and you can see like a mini map or something so you know where you're going. Um, yeah, but other than that, another thing that I have made is the terrain generation. So the terrain generates just um, procedurally, but it's not random. So as I approach an edge, if I click the player, as you can see, the lighter shaded white square, that's the terrain that's currently being generated. And as the player goes towards the edge, um, the side that the player is approaching gets generated, while the one that's dis disappearing is the one that's the furthest away. So if we go this way, it's the same. If I go this way, it's the same. And then if I go this way, it does the same thing. Um, Obviously, the only downside to this is there's like it's not preset. It gets regenerated every single time, so all the terrain has to be same. And but obviously there's objects, so as you can see, the objects are kind of floating in the position that they should be at, and when the player approaches that object, the terrain gets generated underneath it, so it looks like it's a part of the terrain. But I want to figure out later on how to kind of have actual terrain, so like different varying Y levels, but still it follows the same kind of generation and deletion, but specific features of the terrain will get preserved. So, for example, if I'm moving towards the beacon in the distance and say at x equals 3000, I want there to be a mountain and there always to be the exact same mountain. Um, I'll try to figure that out in the future. So that's the update for my devlog. Um, if you're interested in the game, and if you want to continue seeing where this game goes, seeing more of the story and the um, features, please consider subscribing and liking the video. And I'll do another devlog shortly. Thank you very much.